Well, hello and welcome to I Love Gay today. And we're going to have some fun today because these are my favorite interviews when it's someone in my industry, in this whole world of LGBTQ marketing and advertising. And we are here with Mandy Hawk. And I'll even say Mandy Hawk, Chief Magic Maker at Proud Empowerment Business Solutions. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Well, I absolutely love your title, Chief Magic Maker. I think that says it all.
I actually got asked earlier, like, what does that mean exactly? And I was like, well, it's really just owner of the business, but more fun.
Exactly. It's whatever you want it to be.
Right, right.
But no, I think it's great. You're in the world of you just help companies, also reach the LGBTQ market online and as well as other things. I mean, your website, branding and marketing for people passionate about inclusivity. I also think that says it all because it kind of shows you're putting forward out there the type of companies you want to work with and also it tells a lot about you as well.
Yeah, yeah. It's very important to me, not only that I align with the work that the client does, but that our values align. And I wouldn't say that I would do traditional marketing. Most traditional marketing is very scarcity based, very FOMO, very trigger you and then sell you back your piece.
Yeah.
And I very much focus on ethical, trauma-informed, inclusive marketing. So it's a bit, I've been told it's a very different experience working with us as a marketing agency compared to like a traditional marketing agency.
Yeah, I believe it. I also think it's fun when you go to your website, you make it fun. I think I mean, I've come to know you over the last month, so I'm cheating is that I have more info than others, but if somebody doesn't know you and they go to your website, the photos that you use to be able to kind of walk people through, they're amazing. So I don't know how you did that.
Thank you. And what's interesting part about building a business is that you oftentimes have to really rely on your own intuition and what feels right to you. Because I've worked with a number of business mentors over the years, and I had someone who told me that I really needed to professionalize my business
Yeah.
and that my website was too fun, too colorful. I wouldn't be successful that way.
Oh, wow.
Um, and I'm glad I didn't listen because
Yeah.
I've attracted the right people, I think, because of it.
I think so. I think that I think also in today's day and age, you personalize it and people do business with people and it's actually with people that they like. And
Right.
so not to overemphasize that, but I mean that's, sometimes people will say, "Oh, it's not personal, it's business." But that's not always exactly true.
Yeah, no, I think it's hard to unpack them, especially when you are such a deep feeler and a heart-centered person. I'm the same person at work and at home and everywhere
Yeah.
I go. And I don't have the ability that some people do to really compartmentalize and like leave work at work and home at home.
Yeah.
So I can't be authentic otherwise. So this is me. And if my glitter bow tie is offensive, then we probably won't work well together.
But I'm curious, like, how did you get started in this industry, in this side of life?
So my dad was a printer. So I grew up in a print shop. So I spent a lot of evenings and weekends collating and making pads of paper um, and when I would be there over the summertime, I was a very busy neurodivergent child that drove everyone crazy. And so they quickly put me to work. So I would say in middle school, I was learning Quark Express and Photoshop, and some of the those of us who have been in the design world for a while know those older Photoshop's still around, but Quark isn't.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think there was one summer I redid 200 hospital forms. And so that was got my start. And then since high school, I've always had sort of a graphic design side hustle. And then at the start of the pandemic, I was worked for 10 years at an LGBT nonprofit, and my position was eliminated at the start of the pandemic. And obviously there were no jobs that to be had. And I was trying to figure out what to do. We were afraid if the air was even safe. And so I didn't want to go anywhere. So
Yeah.
I had to sit down and go, what can I do? What am I good at? And I was really good at admin work, good at marketing, good at graphic design. And through sort of trial and error, starting to freelance,
Yeah.
I figured out who I wanted to work with and what kind of work I most wanted to do. Kind of
Yeah.
how I got here.
I love that. And I think and also what attracted me to you there, we'll tell a story that got it all started, but one of the areas is that you're very focused on also content marketing, kind of just storytelling, and you seem to be
Mhm.
able to help. your clients get their story out there to the right audience?
Yeah, story is so important. One of the things I find a lot is people will come to me and they followed all of the traditional advertising marketing advice. They're everywhere all of the time, doing all of the things, posting constantly, and nothing's happening.
Yeah.
And then when we really get to the heart of it, they're speaking too broadly. They're trying to be everything for everyone. They're not really clear on who the person is they want to work with. And when you're not speaking directly to the person you want to work with, you're really reaching nobody, especially with as much noise as there is in the online world. Like you have to create something where when the right person reads it, they're like, that's me, 100%.
Yeah. We're so spoiled though, because it was not that many years ago that that world that you just described didn't exist at all. And so, think about the evolution, especially because you had a lot of background in print, but you wanted to reach, gay, lesbian, transgender people. You went, it was all print marketing at the time.
Right.
And then when online came about, we felt like, oh my God, this is great. We can reach the LGBT community online. And that really took off, but also the niche markets that, which was like you can reach people for travel and for health and sports. So you can kind of focus on those markets, but you're still not speaking to the individual the way you are today. And the
Right.
fact that we've gone from what we thought was amazing, that I could reach gay sports people or lesbians who love rugby, whatever that is, the fact that you can go from that into really targeting individuals based on their interests and not where they live and so forth, it's a huge leap.
Huge. And it's almost it's gotten easier and harder, because you wouldn't have had to be so specific 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Like you could just say I do marketing, and there wasn't as much visibility of all the different choices. You could put an ad in an LGBT news paper,
Yeah.
and you would likely get business. And so I think, I work with a lot of LGBT business owners, and they're trying to reach other LGBT people or, whomever it is, but the targeting is tough sometimes
Yeah.
now, and speaking so concisely because people are scrolling so quickly, and you have like 3 seconds to get their attention and communicate your message.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't resonate, you're next,
Yeah.
so I feel like we have more opportunity, and yet we have to be better
Well, especially in
now.
this day and age where it's, that whether it's Instagram or mostly I would say the TikTok mentality where you're just swiping along. And if you can't capture someone's attention within that millisecond, and people sometimes poo-poo that and say, oh, no, you can put all sorts of different content can work in that environment. But every single time I watch other people use those platforms, and if the content starts out and the person's kind of slow on describing what it's about, they're gone. They've
Next.
moved on. And it's
Next.
all,
Now, where YouTube used to be, we're
yeah,
not there anymore.
yeah. And so, but I think that's what's interesting is that like how you and I had connected fits into all this because I found it fascinating. And I really, I laugh now looking back on it. It was only a couple months ago, but I saw you ran an ad. You were trying to hire someone to just focus on targeted online advertising placements, much more the media buying and the placements. And I read the whole thing, but most people are very general about what they post there, but you were very specific and it spoke to me. And I remember reading it a few times going, we do that. And but I rather than thinking to myself like, oh my God, who is this person? And why are they trying to do what we do? I just thought, oh well, I'm just going to throw it out there that we actually have the capacity and the skill set to be able to do exactly what you were describing. And because you were so specific, I was confident that yes, we can do exactly what you were talking about. And I think we can do a good job for you. And I think we could find a way to work together. And the
And here we
conversations we've
are.
had since then, though, it was just very it was reassuring and reinforcing that, especially in today's day and age where things are different than it was a few years ago, and that we can actually partner and work with others in our industry, and it's not a zero sum game that we can actually, one plus one can actually equal a bit more than two. So, I think that you're one
Yeah,
of those rare people that
100%.
feels that same way.
Well, I think it's shifting, like especially, I don't want to get too much into the current world we're in right now because it's
Yeah.
rough, but I am seeing a big shift in collaboration. When I first started in this work, I was very afraid to talk to other marketers, talk to other advertising people. I didn't want like to get the feeling like I'm trying to come in and take your clients. And,
Yeah.
I had a lot of bad experiences around that, but I have been finding more and more people, and I've had some partnerships with other web developers and other freelancers with different specializations, and we're sending each other referrals when something isn't the perfect fit. And I love that. I love that. It's been really it's helped alleviate the business owner isolation that I think is a huge challenge moving from working in an organization to working remotely and then being your own boss. It can be very lonely.
Yeah, no, I hear you. And it's interesting, and it's another plus because you're in the Fort Lauderdale area, and there's just regardless of what's happening in Florida, Fort Lauderdale and other pockets of Florida are just such huge LGBT markets, and there's so many organizations that support all that. And one of the
Yeah.
ones that you work with and is also a testimonial on your site, I love that, is Centerlink, and that was also some folks that we had worked with. And that's the way, our culture here in our company is that I'm so glad that you have this relationship because now we might be able to continue to work with them through you. And so, because they understand us and they understand what we were trying to do for them. But you do very well, especially with a lot of those South Florida companies.
Yes, I forget sometimes how spoiled we are down here. And then you drive like an hour and a half north and the hair starts to stand up on the back of your neck. It's so isolated and so very inclusive in this area. I'm very, very blessed.
Yeah.
Love it.
But when we're starting to really look at ways to work together and so forth, I think it's interesting. You've got three things, and I think we could talk about all three individually. But one of them, you start out with you have Proud Marketing Academy. I would say, yeah, tell us a little bit about what that's about.
So, the Proud Marketing Academy is a great entry point for people who are just confused about all of the things marketing. There is a evergreen course that's part of it where I just explain step by step, just really simple, jargon free, why email marketing is important, what your first step should be, why SEO is important, what it does, what your first step should be. Each of the fundamentals of digital marketing, because I realized this is a good indicator of really needing to know who you're talking to. About a year into my business, someone said to me, well, what is digital marketing even?
Yeah.
And I realized that was my language I was using everywhere. And if people didn't even know what it meant, I wasn't speaking to the right person. So I had to really shift things, and I started marketing online, and started listing out specifically what was included with that.
Yeah.
But with Proud Marketing Academy, there's like monthly trainings, open office hours. I'm doing a weekly co-working body doubling. So if you're working on something crunchy, we just come together and Zoom, but just share in the chat what we're working on. Um, and hot seat coaching every month. And I expect this program will continue to keep growing. And as I'm learning more, I'm adding like new things about like AI SEO and some of the shifts we're making into the course right now. They're like happening in real time.
Yeah. Is there a cost to that?
Yeah, it's $77. I was doing a monthly membership, but I just
Yeah.
changed it to a $77 one-time lifetime access for right
Wow.
now,
Wow.
which is a huge, huge value. And I'm hoping it will remove the barriers for people who aren't sure, and who really need sort of that early marketing support,
Yeah.
like just figuring things out, getting started.
And then number two, you have what I think is great, a marketing visibility audit, which I'm guessing you just jump in there and you let them know, how do you look and how do you show up out there online?
Well, that's actually kind of a do-it-yourself quiz that takes them through the fundamentals of digital, like your digital marketing presence and what your visibility, and it gives you a score at the end.
Yeah.
And then you're able to book a free call with me to discuss it, talk about it, and we can see if we're a good partner to do any of the implementation work for you, like building a lead magnet or a funnel or, any kind of work that you might need.
Yeah.
Or if somebody has a couple $1,000 a month budget for marketing, we can take it all over completely for them.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you're doing a monthly webinar, and is that all in the same direction, just kind of some touching on some of these topics?
So I have a monthly, what I'm calling my signature workshop, which is just how to get more clients or more folks into your business without chasing the algorithm, where we break down a bunch of different ways that you can do marketing, things I think people forget about. And they think just like everything is social media and it's not working. But there's so many other things that you can do and you should be doing at the same time, but also you shouldn't be doing everything. So kind of going through the list and going like pick two from in person, pick two from online,
Yeah.
Start there until you're done. Like if it's not working, then we'll switch, but don't try everything at once or you're not going to do anything well.
Yeah.
So that I do free every single month. It's open.
Mm.
And then I also have more specialized trainings every month in Proud Marketing Academy that go into a little bit more detail about specific things.
Yeah. Well, I think this is great. And I think uh, folks it would be great for folks to learn more about you and be able to, start working with you on some of these projects. And what I'm going to do is make sure that when I post, especially on LinkedIn, I'll have links to all your social media and your website and so forth.
Awesome.
And also I look forward to the next time I'm in South Florida to being able to connect in the real world with you as well.
I would love that.
I
I
think
would
we'd
love
have
that
fun.
very much.
We may never shut up.
I think we should go to Rosie's.
I
Just
love
saying.
Rosie's. I have been there so many times. It's perfect. Um, but no, I love all this and I love what you're doing and looking forward to working with you more in the future. And mostly I'm just really glad you're able to take some time and share with our audience a bit about who you are and what your business and so forth.
Thank you. And I'm so grateful you reached out and connected. I think I definitely had the assumption that, other LGBT marketing companies would not want to play together. So it was affirming and validating that I'm not the only one that loves collaboration. So thank you.
Well, thanks. Well, this is great. And like I said, look forward to seeing you soon.
All right. Thanks.
So good.